Since you are there at the dash, I request you to talk about PPP.
Okay, I'll पूरे सेशन के अंदर खूब आनंद मिला, खूब सुनने को समझने को मिला। अभी बात चल रही है फाइनेंसिंग की, पब्लिक प्राइवेट पार्टनरशिप। बहुत कॉमन और फैंसी सा नेम था, जैसे मैंने सवेरे पर जिक्र किया था, I mentioned that in the morning that about 7-8 years back people used to say my apartment is a golf view apartment in a high-tech city and no smart city. Similarly, PPP was also a very catchy word about 10 years back. When it was kind of not initiated in India, it had initiated much earlier, but तब उसके बारे में बातचीत शुरू हो गई थी। मैं बहुत अच्छी अपनी फर्स्ट क्लास चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंसी की प्रैक्टिस छोड़ करके पीपीपी की तरफ आकर्षित होकर के I went into this field good about 6-7 years back, and I thought that PPP is the future of investment in the infrastructure, because government alone cannot and can never fund the projects which are needed in any country, especially a country like India, which is a European country. Probably I'll not go to this slide. I'll simply share my experiences first hand on PPP, and then I say why probably PPP can or cannot work in smart cities. PPP, as the name suggests, is partnership between private and public. Partnership is what? Partnership is art of giving. One partner gives to another partner something: knowledge, money, experience, blessings, help, advice. The other partner also gives to the other partner similarly something. Interestingly, PPP with government is practically one-sided. Private partner keeps giving, government keeps taking, never gives back. I have personally experienced this in smaller places. I think we just mentioned about JNNURM, and Jharkhand could utilize only 48% of the grant which was from the central government under the JNNURM PPP projects. It is a fact that government, because of lack of capacity is one aspect, lack of intention could be the another aspect. But sheer desire not to do or oppose the private operator resulted in the situation where funds could not be channelized for the urbanization of smaller cities. I have seen projects where grant comes from the government, PPP partner is there, who is all willing to invest his money, but he is a businessman. Let's not forget it. Private partner is a businessman, he is looking for that return which is about 13-14%. After you pay 10% to the bank, he is expecting that kind of a return. But if the government says no, you probably cannot get this return because you become on tender basis, you are L1, so you quote as minimum as possible, and then you can steal money from some other methods. This is the only way you can get a project. PPP cannot survive. A project entered for 30 years. Who has seen 30 years inflation? Today I couldn't see. 30 years back, I don't know. I could never imagine that inflation be this stage today. We enter agreements for roads and for solid waste management, which I have been doing many years. 30 years. You tell me after on 30th year, what fees are you going to charge me? Poor fellow, because he has to expand his business, and there are business development heads of the companies in the market. They say, no, you can bid this at 500 rupees, it's going to be increasing to about 1,000 and 1,100 rupees by the 30th year, that should be fair enough. 3 years down the line, 500 rupees is gone, inflation has caught up, things have become costly. I'm not talking about the underhand money which is normally demanded. I'm not counting on that. Certainly the businessman is out of pocket in the 4th year. What can he do? Can he go to the government and say, please revise my agreement, kindly increase, renegotiate the pricing mechanism? Why most of the toll projects could have failed with NHAI probably is this could be one of the reasons. Where there is no clause for renegotiation, or there is no opportunity given by the government for renegotiation. So if renegotiation of price is not possible, if the government is one-sided, it's not allowing a free hand to the private participant into the partnership. Another example. I thought I will not use the example, but I'm compelled to do so. we are doing a project where everything is fantastic. Very good corporation, very good promoters, very good project. Everything is on profit. Corporation is willing to pay as much money you want because we respect your requirement of a profit. But we will not make the payment to you through an escrow account or an automatic route or a mechanism by which, without the bureaucratic passing of the file, which takes 4 months and lot of undercuts, money will not be paid to you. So, experts like us and you, private operators like many, and the government on the other side, have been trying to grapple with the subject called PPP. That is why my topic was, will PPP succeed in funding smart cities? That's a question mark. If the bylaws, which are 200 old, cannot be changed, if the way we look at PPP structuring, agreement renegotiation, price refixation, automatic payment to the private operator for the user charges or a shadow fee, viability gap funding, which is not limited to only large I don't know how many projects viability gap funding State government has funded. I tried, I failed. The norms are so stiff. Having said that, I also say that there is no option. In smart cities, private investor has to come. Whether it comes as an individual operator, investor as Dhirendra just mentioned, at low level he is expecting some kind of return, or large investors who have funds, visions and the capacity to raise more funds from the FFIs and other sources to partner on the large projects of digital connectivity or the roads or health sector, education sector for smart city, provided our government is willing to also, and the policy maker willing to move little forward onto the whole thing. Since all these projects are high risk, social projects, I will just go to that slide because I am not going to get into all details. There are many kind of risks in a project. Let's see this slide. When we talk about a smart city, everybody is saying resources, intelligent person, smart, good looking, handsome, good environment, no pollution, everything clean. My children are going to best schools. That is economic development. That is not financial development. And when you talk about economic development, you talk about ERR. Economic rate of return is much lower than the IRR. All my industry, my businessmen are used to working on IRR because that's how the funding and project funding is done. But government is talking about smart cities, smart people, that is ERR. So there is a dichotomy. Why would anybody take a chance unless government is participating as either a venture capitalist or a viability gap funding or a grant, and in a manner where it is not siphoned off, it is put to a proper channel. We were talking about digitalization. Everything on digital. Somebody said in the morning, in fact, he said, can my camera in my house be linked with the CCTV system which police will put up to ensure the security? We want that. Innovations, we want everything on solar innovation, we want everything. I'll produce, recently you must have read, I can produce electricity on my rooftop through a solar system and put on the grid. I want that. It's very interesting, smart. But all these innovations are risky affairs. Why would anybody invest on the solar panel which I put on my rooftop? I may not be able to generate electricity. I may gain steam from that. Would any investor like to invest on investing solar panel on 2,000 houses? Are we talking that? Or is talking that I will put on my own cost at my rooftop? So risky propositions are there. Regulatory uncertainty is a classic example. I think Mr. Modi Prime Minister had also said, let's do away with all those old laws which are not relevant anymore. How to monetize the benefit in an infrastructure. मैं इंग्लिश बोलता हूँ तो मैं महंगा आदमी हूँ, मैं हिंदी बोलता हूँ तो मैं सस्ता हूँ. मोनेटाइज कैसे करोगे? मैं 2 रुपए का आदमी हूँ कि 10 रुपए का आदमी हूँ? When my quality of life increases, when I feel that I'm a smart person, smart city, उस क्वालिटी की मोनेटाइजेशन कैसे होगी एक बिजनेसमैन के लिए टू बिकम पार्टनर विद द गवर्नमेंट इन पीपीपी प्रोजेक्ट? How to attract capital for a small scale? Of course, so simple. Reduce the real and perceived risk. So simple to say that. But when it comes to the ground, it is not easy. It is almost impossible. And it is definitely a long-term process. I think we will probably going forward learn from our experiences on this. But at the same time, having said that, I'm not going to take more time, and I'd like to keep, as I promised, a small session for those in the audience who would like to come to the dais and say a few words on what they wanted to talk, not what we have discussed, something new. So 10 minutes I like to keep with them, and I'd like to wind up my session here, and I request Sachin to please come and take it over. Thank you very much.